Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Teacher Raph, Twilight Zone episode 174. I'm going to talk about HR 3684. I'll also talk about something very unbelievable, another series that predicted this. Now, I talked about Johnny Mnemonic and its predictions for 2021, the film Johnny Mnemonic. Now, I'll talk briefly about a series, The X-Files, one episode in particular, back in 1998. Aired an episode called Kill Switch about an AI gone rogue, told when the internet was still accessed by most using dial-up modems. Check the description of this video for HR 3684 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act bill. It's inside the huge infrastructure bill, so I'll put a link in the description to this, as well as the other link that you can browse and take a look at on your own time. It's not clear whether the police, government, or insurance companies will have access to this, but it was stated that it will passively monitor the performance of a driver of a motor vehicle to accurately identify whether that driver may be impaired. So that specific sentence is in the bill that everyone will be referring to in the near future, specifically 2026, when every vehicle will have a certain switch installed in it, which means it's always on, monitoring your driving activity and therefore your location. Okay, so this article, does infrastructure bill require surveillance system in new vehicles to track drivers? The bill was said to require a kill switch that law enforcement could use to shut off your car, published January 19, 2022. But if you look at the fine details, you'll realize that the so-called kill switch is sort of like a hidden and deductively deduced type of idea that's going to happen. Now, there still needs to be a decision made how this is going to be implemented. And what I mean by that is I believe the government has 3 years to decide and potentially vote this down. But let's read a little bit and see what we can learn. In the weeks since the initial passage of a massive 2021 U.S. infrastructure bill, a slew of rumors surrounding its exact contents persisted. Yes, we know that. Okay, mandatory backdoor kill switch to shut off the car by law enforcement. Okay, former Representative Bob Barr, Republican turned Libertarian from Georgia, okay, says buried deep within the massive infrastructure legislation recently signed by President Joe Biden is a little noticed safety measure that will take effect in 5 years. Marketed to Congress as a benign tool to help prevent drunk driving, the measure will mandate that automobile manufacturers build into every car what amounts to a vehicle kill switch, wrote Barr. Coverage of this section of the infrastructure bill was largely hyperbolized and reported in a way that in some cases evoked fear and stirred negative emotions. Even so, in his post, Barr called the measure disturbingly short on details. A read-through of the text of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which passed Congress in December of 2021, has since become law, did prove to be somewhat vague. We found that Section 24220 outlined regulations for advanced impaired driving technology. You can read that section of the bill here and here. Those are the links that I will post in the description if you want to take a look, but I took a look, and unless you know where you're looking, you're going to be looking for the rest of the year because it's just so long. Anyway, the point is that they're going to install a way that monitors the way you actually drive the vehicle. And if they determine, this computer algorithm determines that the way you're driving your vehicle is in an unusual manner, there will be a kill switch that will stop your vehicle, because the fear is that they don't want drunk drivers to continue driving if they're impaired. But at the same time, if you're trying to get away from someone chasing you, like some criminal activity, you're trying to get away from it, and you're driving unusually behind the wheel, your car could potentially just turn off, right? It could be an automatic kind of thing by the algorithm and not necessarily law enforcement. Maybe if law enforcement were to chase a criminal and they had one of these things installed in their new vehicle, then they could just potentially turn it off. Just like used cars or cars that are bought from dealerships, certain dealerships in certain states. Let's read this for clearer understanding, the laws on remote kill switches vary throughout the country. As of now, only 5 states, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Nevada, and New Jersey, have regulations regarding kill switches. Those regulations require that the lender or dealer tells every customer that the car they are buying is being tracked via GPS and can be shut off if the monthly payment isn't met. For every other state, it's currently fair game, and while it may seem like a harsh punishment for being late on your car payment, consider that the kill switch method is far less embarrassing than having a repo man show up and tow the car away. After all, that's what would happen if you miss a car payment without a kill switch, maybe in one of the other states. So this is an article by Motor Biscuit, November 22nd, 2021. Okay, this article is from January 18th, 2022. Biden's infrastructure plan now signed into law mandates vehicle kill switches by 2026 by Tyler Durden. The rumors we first reported back in December have turned out to be true. The United States federal government is apparently in the process of trying to force automakers to install kill switches in their vehicles that authorities can use to shut down any newer vehicles. The law comes as part of President Biden's infrastructure bill, which was recently signed into law, according to Yahoo. The government kill switch is, like all good thefts of civil liberties, being positioned as a safety measure. The mandate needs to be put into effect by 2026, muscle cars and trucks reported. We noted last month that former Rep. Bob Barr, writing for the Daily Caller, called the measure included in the bill disturbingly short on details, but for the fact that the proposed device must passively monitor the performance of a driver of a motor vehicle to accurately identify whether that driver may be impaired, which of course is code for some kind of device that is constantly on and monitoring your vehicle and will likely have the power to shut down your vehicle anytime it wants. This is a privacy disaster in the making, and the fact that the provision made it through the Congress reveals yet again how little its members care about the privacy of their constituents, the Daily Caller wrote. It appears that the president's future, okay? So this decision now rests in the hands of an algorithm, the report said. Similar monitoring and control devices have faced constitutional opposition, the report notes, notably with the Fifth Amendment's right to not self-incriminate and the Sixth Amendment's right to face one's accuser. Barr concluded, unless this regulatory mandate is not quickly removed or fanged by way of an appropriations rider, preventing its implementation, the freedom of the open road that individual car ownership brought to the American dream will be but another vague memory of an era no longer to be enjoyed by future generations. NPR reported that Congress's new mandate to car makers figure out a way to stop drunk driving, published November 9, 2021. Congress has created a new requirement for automakers find a high-tech way to keep drunken people from driving cars. It's one of the mandates, along with a burst of new spending aimed to improving auto safety amid escalating road fatalities in the $1 trillion infrastructure package that Biden expected to be signed soon, which he already signed now, okay? Under the legislation, monitoring systems to stop intoxicated drivers would roll out in all new vehicles as early as 2026 after the Transportation Department assesses the best form of technology to install in millions of vehicles and automakers are given time to comply. I believe they have about 3 years, so there's still time to overturn this, I believe. In all, about $17 billion is allotted to road safety programs, the biggest increase in such funding in decades, according to the Eno Center for Transportation. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said Monday that could mean more protected bike paths and greener spaces built into busy roadways. It's monumental. Alex Oates, National President of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Oates called the package the single most important legislation in the group's history that marks the beginning of the end of drunk driving. It will virtually eliminate the number one killer on America's roads, she said. Last month, the National Highway Traffic Administration reported an estimate 20,000 people died in traffic collisions in the first half of 2021. The highest first half total since 2006. The agency has pointed to speeding, impaired driving, and not wearing seatbelts. Each year, around 10,000 people are killed due to alcohol-related crashes in the U.S., making up nearly 30% of all traffic fatalities, according to NHTSA. To prevent drunk driving is infrared cameras that monitor driver behavior. That technology is already being installed by automakers such as General Motors, BMW, and Nissan to track driver attentiveness while using partially automated driver assist systems. The cameras make sure a driver is watching the road, and they look for signs of drowsiness, loss of consciousness, or impairment. If signs are spotted, the cars will warn the driver. If the behavior persists, the car would turn on its hazard lights, slow down, and pull to the side of the road. Breathalyzers aren't practical solution because many people would object to being forced to blow into a tube every time they get into the car. I don't think it's going to go over very well with a lot of people, he said. The voluminous bill requires automakers to install rear seat reminders to alert parents if a child is left inadvertently in the back seat, a mandate that could begin by 2025 after NHTSA completes its rulemaking on the issue. Since 1990, about 1,000 children have died from vehicular heat stroke, after the highest total in a single year was 54 in 2018, according to kidsincars.org. Congress, meanwhile, directed the agency to update decades-old safety standards to avert deaths from collapsing front seatbacks and issue a rule requiring automatic emergency braking and lane departure warnings on all passenger vehicles, though no date was set for compliance. Most automakers had already agreed to make automatic emergency braking standard equipment in most of their models by September of next year as part of a voluntary plan announced in the final weeks of the Obama administration. Buttigieg, promoting the legislation's benefits at a White House briefing, said he had traveled the country in recent months and seen too many roadside memorials for people who died in preventable traffic deaths. He pointed to a new $5 billion Safe Streets and Roads for All program under his department that will in part promote healthier streets for cyclists and pedestrians. The federal program, which he acknowledged may take several months to set up, would support cities' campaigns to end traffic fatalities with a Vision Zero effort that could build traffic roundabouts to slow cars, carve out new bike paths and widen sidewalks, and even reduce some roads to shift commuters toward public transit or other modes of transportation. Okay, so if you go to IMDB and go to the X-Files TV series, there's an episode called Kill Switch from 1998, and if you scroll down and check out the comments, you'll see here what it says. It says that this episode was written by cyberpunk pioneer William Gibson, the same William Gibson who wrote Johnny Mnemonic. Once again, drivers get screwed by politicians in DC. Back in '98, sci-fi TV series The X-Files aired an episode called Kill Switch about an AI gone rogue. Told when the internet was still accessed by most using dial-up modems, it was a fascinating tale of technology run amok, a message about not handing too much of your life over to the digital world. While it might also seem like a sci-fi tale, soon enough the United States federal government could force automakers to install kill switches authorities can access and use to shut down any newer vehicles. In other words, Big Brother will constantly be monitoring how you drive. If you do something the system has been programmed to recognize as driver impairment, your car could just shut off, which could be incredibly dangerous. There is possibility the kill switch program might measure your driving as impaired. Then when you try to start the car up again, the engine won't fire up. That would potentially leave you stranded. But wait, there's more. This kill switch safety system would be open, or in other words, there would be a back door that would allow police or other government authorities to access it whenever. Would they need a warrant to do that? Likely not. Even better, hackers would access the back door and shut down your vehicle. But Barr points out what a tremendous violation of Americans' privacy this is, and he's right. In addition, the term impaired driving isn't defined by the legislation, so it would be open to interpretation by regulators such as the Department of Transportation and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Do you want government regulators helping to write algorithms which might force your car to pull over and stop because you might be a little tired instead of tipsy? There was never a debate in the House or Senate floor about this issue. Instead, this bill was passed through with many backdoor room deals detailed out before here. If you care to learn more about that, it's time for not only car enthusiasts but also regular Americans to get loud and tell their U.S. representatives and senators what they think of laws like these. Obviously, our elected officials don't care too much about our safety or privacy, so we need to remind them what we expect now and moving forward. Check out Barr's article. Here's some more information on the X-Files, the episode Kill Switch, which aired February 15, 1998. And it says, the brutal murder of a renowned computer programmer leads Mulder and Scully to investigate an artificial intelligence program loose on the internet that has begun evolving on its own. And look at this. William Gibson is the writer. The same William Gibson who wrote Johnny Mnemonic. So this is directly off of IMDb, William Gibson, the writer, actor. And if we just scroll down a bit, you can see he is the writer of Johnny Mnemonic, the X-Files, 98 to 2000, specifically that episode that we're referencing called The Kill Switch right here. And William Gibson is also credited called Pattern Recognition that has yet to air. And it is a marketing consultant who has a psychological sensitivity to corporate symbols, is hired to seek the creators of film clips anonymously posted to the internet before uncovering a larger conspiracy. So he is credited as the writer of the novel that this screenplay is based on. On the website uberpeople.net, a commentator makes a claim, and perhaps someone could verify this for us. It says, when auto dealers began installing kill switches to disable the vehicles of certain loan applicants who were considered high risk and uncredit worthy, the government stepped in to outlaw the practice, citing a slew of safety issues. Now, as we saw earlier, 5 states actually have legalized kill switches and the rest have not. I just wanted to say thank you for tuning in, and if you would like to support me, you can go to my channel, hit the About page and scroll down, and you'll see the links on the very bottom. Very bottom right is support small business and donate. You can donate anything you'd like if you'd like to help me out, or you can take a look at the adventure guides that I have published, which will help you anytime you're looking for a vacation. I talk about some do's and don'ts, and also give you a location of a very affordable hotel in order to save you money, and other details. Thank you for listening very much as always. Take care, be safe, hit like, make a comment, and share this link.